Hi, my name is Daniel Koranteng. This is my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and leave a comment in the comment section. I can't do Let's go. It's painful. Seriously, it's a hope that kills. It's a hope that kills. But all in all, the Black Stars are out of the FIFA World Cup. We've crashed out, losing our final game against Uruguay by 2-0. All we had to do was to draw the game, avoid defeat. But unfortunately, the Black Stars ended up losing. Look, I won't lie to you. I don't think it is fair to start pointing hands at pointing fingers at players and blaming players for the defeat. I feel like this was a game that it was lost emotionally. And when I say it was lost emotionally, after that Andrea Ayew penalty miss, I watched Andrea Ayew's body language for the next 5 minutes, and I could just sense that it was good. It was danger. If the person you look up to the most cannot pick himself up after such a painful miss or a painful emotional hit, then it's going to affect everybody. And you can also understand how devastated Andrea Ayew himself was after that penalty miss. Because look, it wasn't just a penalty miss in any game. It was a penalty miss against Uruguay. And for somebody who was in that 2010 squad, as a human being, you expect that these things will keep ringing in his head. He will think about it time and again, and it could come back and affect him. So unfortunately for me, I feel like we lost the game once that penalty was missed. It was always going to be very difficult for the Black Stars to pick themselves up, and they never did. They never settled in the game. And another trend that we saw that has happened throughout the competition for the Black Stars, the quickness in which they concede goals. We conceded the first goal, and then 6 minutes later we conceded the second goal, and it was always going to be difficult at that point, because when you are 2-0 down, like we saw against Korea, the sooner you can get a goal back, the better for you. But the thing is, the team was so emotionally hit, they couldn't even settle down and string their passes together. They couldn't play the football that they came out and they wanted to play, and that was because of their inability to manage their emotions. And these things happen. It's extremely painful, but you also have to credit the head coach for making those bold changes at halftime. He made some very bold changes at halftime, which I feel like it showed that he was going for it. But unfortunately for the team, it just didn't work out, and it's quite painful. It's painful that it has come out, or it's come back at this point. Ghana has been knocked out at this particular point in time. When it looked so bright after the Korea game, we had our hopes up. We actually thought that we could go out and we could do this, especially considering how Uruguay had played throughout the competition. You expected that the Black Stars could go out and at least get the job done, avoid defeat. But it's extremely painful. You look at the second half performance, and this is a point of the game that sort of hurt me. From the 85th minute going, when the confirmation came from the Korea and Portugal game that Korea had scored, the Uruguayans became extra adventurous, and that created so much space in their defense. We had opportunities where, if we had just taken our time, if we had just shown a bit of composure, you score that one goal, you leave them extra rattled, and you don't know what will happen in the next few minutes. So I feel like we let that one slip, but it's also sort of a stretch, because you are talking about 8 minutes, 2-0 down, and we are talking about two major ifs. So that is also something that it's a bit disappointing. But look, let's go back to the starting 11 for the game. I've seen quite a number of comments asking why we didn't start the same 11 against South Korea. That South Korea starting 11 was an offensive one. I feel like, if I'm being fair to the technical team, as I said earlier, we didn't have to win the game. We had to avoid defeat. Uruguay came with an extremely attacking setup, and they were quite aggressive in their play. They didn't press us as aggressively enough as I thought they would, but it's the first bit of pressing we've seen the Uruguayans do us, and with purpose. So they came out with a very attacking game plan. And I feel like, had we also presented that attacking game plan, we would have created a lot of space. I feel like there was some sense in the starting 11. There was some sense in our approach. Had we managed the opening minutes of the game quite better, I feel like we could have gotten something out of the game. That's why it comes down to that penalty miss. That Andrea Ayew penalty miss. As painful as it is, as much as you may want to ignore it and admit that there was enough time for the team to come back, it is still a major significant turning point in the game where emotionally it switched that off. So for me, look, the Black Stars lost that emotional battle. Uruguay got the better of us. But the fact that we went down and we went down with them, it gives me personally some bit of joy. At least we went home with Uruguay. Uruguay and Suarez cried. His last memory of a World Cup was crying, watching himself go out because Ghana denied his team a third goal. It might sound petty, it might sound like the mentality is not up there, but when you are the bottom ranked team in the competition and everybody expects you to lose every game, and you go out there and you make competition in every game, and at the end of the day you go out with your worst enemy, yeah, I'll take it. In fact, for this one, for Suarez, Ashue.